Hey everyone, PV here from the Home Automation Project. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to integrate your Frigate add-on server with Home Assistant using a HACS component. I'm also going to show you how to set up a simple automation using person detection in Frigate in Home Assistant to send a notification to your mobile device. If you have not seen my previous video where I show you how to set up the Frigate add-on server in Home Assistant, do not forget to check it out. I will leave a link in the description box below or somewhere up in the screen for you to follow. If you have any comments or queries about this video or any of my previous videos, do not forget to leave them in the comment section below. So without further ado, let's get started. Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to use the person detection in Frigate as an input for an automation in Home Assistant and run an action off the back of it. We are going to send a notification to a mobile phone when a person is detected by the camera stream playing in the Frigate server. Before we can set up the automation, we need to set up the Frigate integration component using HACS. If you are not aware of what HACS is or how to use HACS, then I have a video earlier in my channel. I will link that video either in the description or somewhere on the screen for you to refer, and you can use that video to set up HACS. So go to HACS integrations and click on explore and download integration, search for Frigate as integration, and then download and install the integration. Click on download and wait for the installation to complete. Once the download is complete, it will ask you to restart your Home Assistant. So click on go to settings, click on restart Home Assistant, and then restart Home Assistant and then restart. Okay, now that the Frigate HACS integration, custom integration has been installed, go to settings, next go to device and services and click on add integration and search for Frigate and then click on this one. Now by default it will give you a string and it will generally detect whether you have an add-on configuration, which should then give you the string. Otherwise, if it was just a URL to access Frigate, you would be using this. However, since we have installed the Frigate full access version and not just the Frigate NVR version, so very important for you to come here and add the literals -FA, which stands for full access. Once you have updated this URL, hit submit, and as you can see, it has detected the Frigate add-on, and it has detected the camera, the Frigate instance itself, and the zone that we configured. The only thing I would probably give a location for is the camera, and then click finish. And now Frigate, all three devices have been installed. You can now start using the camera attributes such as the person detection, the motion detection, occupancy, etc., and all of these attributes you can use in any home assistant automation like any other entity or device that we have seen. Next, I would show you how to trigger an automation based on when a person is detected on the camera. In case you are not aware of how to configure the Frigate add-on or how to set up a camera in the Frigate to record its stream, and also to set up a zone and a person detection config for Frigate, you can refer to one of my previous videos where I show you a detailed step-by-step manner on how to set these things up. I'll leave a link of that video in my description or somewhere on the screen for you to have a look. One thing to ensure before I move over to the automation is that you have a config in your config file. You have set up a zone like so. I have named the zone as primary_zone, but you can name it anything, like for example front yard, backyard, or driveway. The other thing I have done here is, if you see the record option, under record, under events subcategory, I have added the required zones as primary zone. This means that in my case, the camera will trigger a recording only if the person enters into the primary zone. And just to show you how on the camera what this zone looks like, I'll go to debug mode, and as you can see, this yellow boundary, this is the area which is our zone for triggering person detection recording in Frigate. So now that we have all this set up in the Frigate server, and I have the I also have this Frigate integration set up in Home Assistant. Next step would be go and set up automation. For that, go click on settings, click on automations and scenes, and click on create automation and click on create new automation. Now you have an option to set up the Frigate notification using a standard blueprint that is available in the community. I will leave a link to that Frigate blueprint for you to import if you want to. However, I'm going to use a standard template that is recommended in the Frigate documentation itself and is pretty handy and can be used straight away. Before you can use the standard template, what you will need to do is you need to go to these 3-dot options and click on edit in YAML. The reason for this is the Frigate notification template that is most common and most basic settings uses something called templates in Home Assistant, which is like a little bit of advanced coding. So it's not possible to set up the entire thing using the visual editor. Hence, it is recommended that you do it in YAML mode. It is a bit advanced, however, it is not a too complex piece to understand. I will try and explain the bits and pieces of that of the automation so that you can grasp the basics of it, and hopefully that helps you to understand how it works. Let me quickly introduce you to the YAML version of automations. So as you can see, it has these top level sections, which is description, mode, trigger, condition, and action. A description is the same that you see on the UI side. Trigger is something which acts as an input. Condition is the optional clauses that you can put based on which the trigger triggers, so to say. And action is outcome. If you switch to the visual version, then the when is the trigger, the and if is your condition, and the then is your action. And the description is when you go to rename, then you will see the description option. So it's more or less like for like in terms of the options. The mode single, you don't need to worry about it. It's a bit of an advanced concept, and probably any normal automation you will not end up using it, so you can ignore it for now. I can probably tackle more details about setting up YAML automations and the use of mode parameter in one of my feature videos. So let's go ahead and paste the YAML configuration, and then I'm going to walk you through it step by step. Okay, so now I've pasted the YAML configuration here. So the first thing to put is alias, which is nothing but the name of the automation. As you can see, it's reflecting on the top. You can name it, give it any meaningful name you need to recognize. I usually follow a prefix convention so that I can group all the automations together by name. However, obviously you can use your own way of defining automation names. Second is description. You can use it for some useful notes you might need to keep for your automations. However, I've left it blank for now. Now trigger is, so the way the Frigate automation works is it works off the back of the events which are notified by the Frigate server to Home Assistant via MQTT. Hence the platform is MQTT, and Frigate/events is the topic that we need to use for reading the events that are coming from the Frigate server in Home Assistant. Next thing is condition. This is optional. You could as well do it without any condition. However, I have put it in just to show the power of using a Frigate notification. The condition that I put is that the type of object that is detected is a person, and the second condition I have put is that the zone in which that person is detected is primary_zone, which is the zone I showed you earlier, configured in the camera. This don't need to worry too much about the rest of it. Just one thing is that this name of the zone you can update based on the actual name that you have given in the config file. Next is action. You can do a variety of action. You could as well set up an action of For example, switching on a light. For the purpose of this automation, what I have done is I have my mobile registered in Home Assistant, and I have used the notify.mobile app version of it. The way this works is you first need to install the Home Assistant companion app, which is your mobile app from Play Store or Apple Store, if you are using an iPhone, in your mobile. Once you do that, you can set up, you can use the user credentials that you have logged in here on the server to log in through the mobile app as well. And when you do that, you can name your mobile device. In my case, I've named my mobile device as Vivo space 1805, but you can give it a proper name like maybe your first name and your mobile type. And then what Home Assistant does is it automatically registers the device and then gives you this routine which you can invoke to send any notification through the Home Assistant app which is in your mobile. I will show you the mobile app when I show you the notifications. If you want to receive the notifications as a pop-up, you need to go into the mobile app of your Home Assistant and you need to go into the notification settings. You need to allow pop-ups. I will show you later in the video how to do that. But let's assume that there's a mobile that you've configured. Then you can use this notify.mobile app. And again, don't worry too much about data template. All this you can just copy paste this. You can do the message is using a template. So where you have these open and close parentheses, this is like template code. And at runtime, when an event occurs, then this reads the label from the after event of Frigate, which in this case we are expecting it to be a person because we have already put the condition that after label is equal to person. So what it will do is at runtime it will substitute it with the label of the object that is detected. In our case, it should say a person was detected because that's the label we are put as a condition. And I have given untitled, which is optional. In data, I have given a link to the image. Now, one thing to note is that this where I've said HIP, this is where you need to put the IP address of your Home Assistant instance. If you are only accessing it locally from within your Wi-Fi network, basically it means that you're connected to Wi-Fi network at home, then HTTP option works fine. Which is the option I'm using to demonstrate this code. But however, if you want to access it externally, you might have to set up the HTTPS option to access Home Assistant, in which case you will just change this link to HTTPS if you have it set up. In my case, I don't need it, so I'm just setting it up. And you can put the other thing you can do, instead of putting the IP, you can also say Home Assistant.local, which is like so, assistant.local, which automatically tries and resolves to your local instance of Home Assistant. In my case, again, I have two instances of Home Assistant on my local network, hence I need to use an actual IP, but that may not be the case for you, and this might work. The rest of it is template. You can copy paste. I've got this format to Android because my target phone is an Android phone. You can use if you are using an Apple phone, you can use a different format option. What it does is when the message is received on your phone, it will show an image, which will be the image captured as part of this event, which is a snapshot. Here I am assuming that you in your config you have switched on your snapshot option so that you can show an image. Otherwise, if no image is captured by the Frigate server, then you won't be able to do this. And a tag is nothing but the ID of the image, and when is the basically put the time in the integer format. And actions, again, it is purely optional. The action, what I've done is I've given a URL to open the image, and again, as I mentioned earlier, instead of HTTP you can use HTTPS if your server is configured. Home Assistant server is set up for HTTPS notification. Finally, enable true is the default, and you can leave the mode as single. So once you have done that, you can hit save, and as you can see, it's just reconfirming the name, and just click on rename, and there you go. You have your automation ready now. Next step is to set up the mobile app. so that it can receive pop-up notification. Let me show you how to do that. One bonus tip: in case you have only one user of your Home Assistant and that user is an administrator, you might not want to access a mobile app using the same account. In that case, you can go to the people option and you can add person, and here you can add a test user. Let's say test home user, and then you can say allow the person to log in, and you can give a password for this user to log in, and then you can say don't enable the tab for administrator, and you can just you can optionally say can only log in from local network. But this is probably not a useful option to have if you are intending to get if you intend to access the Home Assistant app when you're outside your home. There is a way you can do this. It's quite an advanced way in which you can access remotely your Home Assistant server despite keeping the only local login enabled. Probably a topic for another video in the future. However, if you want to access it from outside the house, just leave it off and then you create. Now when you go to the install the Home Assistant app on your mobile, you can use these credentials to log in which case you can ensure that the user that you're using to access the app is not an administrator. If you're quite security conscious and want to keep that segregation of roles, then this is a handy option to do. In my case, I'm not going to create this because I already have a test HA user which I'm using from my mobile app. Okay, now let's look at the mobile app. Okay, so now I'm on my mobile app here, as you can see here. So one of the options that I mentioned, you can go to your app configuration and then you can go to the notification channels, and here you have an option called general. You can go here and check that show notifications is on, and the other thing you can check is pop-up on screen, and then you can set up some advanced options as well. But I like this option because it comes as a pop-up on the system tray if I receive a notification. And let's go back to the app. Right now I move my self into this roughly this area where my zone is. Ideally we should see this notification which is behind this screen should get triggered, as well as we should see an option we should see a notification message on my phone. So let's try this. I'll just move my hand into the zone, and yeah, the notification has been triggered. As you can see in the background, the notification has been triggered, and hopefully message should be sent. One way to check it is you can go to this traces option, and you can see here step by step if the notification executes. The other option is if I go to the main menu of list of notification, you can see this. If I sort by last triggered, I can see that it was triggered 28 seconds ago. And let's check out the, yep, as you can see the person was detected, and you can see the image here. So if you open it, this shows the image, and it also gives a link which you can click to open the thumbnail or the snapshot. So there you go. That's your notification, how to set up notification from a Frigate server into Home Assistant. One advanced tip, in case you want to troubleshoot the logic, for example, here we have said that the enter zone should be primary zone, but in case if you see that this condition is not passing, you might want to troubleshoot the event itself which comes from Frigate. There is a way to do it, and the way to do it is if you go to settings and you go to devices and services and go to this MQTT server and then go to configure. Then on this page you will get an option to listen to a topic. In my case, let's say this is the Frigate/events. This is the topic we want to listen to. You can just enter the name Frigate/events, and then you can say start listening. Now I'm going to go trigger the camera, and you can see the event details will come through. So I'll put my hand in front of the camera. That should trigger the event. Give it a few seconds to come through. Let's try again. Yeah, there you go. So as you can see, it generated a few events with the timestamp, and there is this message 0 and 1, 2 and 3. So that the number will give you the sequence of events in case you can't make out. So what you can do is you can copy this whole thing. Let's say I copy this thing, yeah, like so, and I can open up this set. So in this case, you can see the enter zone as primary zone, in which case it would have detected and would have sent an automation, and the start time and everything is here. So this can help you do debug if there are any issues with the automation when you're fetching off the figure. Another option to use in the automation would be, instead of sending a notification, I could switch on my desk lamp here. So to do that, let's disable this option and let us add the action of, let's device, yeah, smart ambient light, and I can say turn on my smart ambient light as an option, and save this. So in this case, it will be reading the same event, but instead of sending a notification, it is going to turn on the light. You can do both, obviously. Let's go and trigger this. So I'll go to this Frigate debug option, and as you can see, this is the zone. We should trigger the routine. So I'll bring my hand in this zone, and that should detect me as a person, and the lamp should turn on. There you go. So as soon as the person is detected within the zone, you can see that the lamp is switched on. So that will be all for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. Do stay tuned for more such interesting videos on Home Assistant and home automation in general. And if you have any comments or queries, do not forget to leave them in the comment section below. And I will see you in the next video. Till then, stay safe and stay connected.